Alrighty.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Hello. We're here to do another MAAT session. Today is March 30th, 2022. Last MAAT show for March 2022. And oh, where'd you go, Vida? What happened?
I don't know. You're gone and I'm gone.
I'm here. There you go.
Oh, I didn't know what happened.
Oh, well, maybe it's going to be, one of those times.
It could be one of those evenings
where we have a very interesting evening. Yes.
It could be.
Lots of good therapy with laughter and being silly.
Yes.
Yes. Because we need that.
Oh, we do.
And thankfully we are okay with us not being perfect, which will go with our rules for being human. I'll give those a read here in a little bit, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if any of us have been following the rules.
I know I've been following 10. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I did not do our intros yet. So I am Margaret Major, and I am a registered counseling therapist here at the After Trauma Empowerment Network in Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. I'm joined with Vida Woodworth, who is co-host and chairperson on our board of directors here at ATTEN. And usually Kate is with us, but Kate's not with us this evening. Kate may pop in from at some point, but hopefully all is good for Kate. Yes. Okay, so we just have a few different, I guess, random things that we're gonna kind of throw out there to talk about. You have a couple of things, and I have a couple of things on my trusty sticky. Without my sticky, it doesn't get done.
Yes.
I do want to extend thanks and gratitude for those of you who tune in and watch these sessions. And we also want to thank the Mental Health Foundation of Nova Scotia for their financial support for Project MAAT.
Yes.
We are very grateful for their financial support for this work that we do. Okay. Now, I did not do the diversity welcome, Vida.
No.
Okay.
We're all ready for it.
Okay, let's do that. And then we'll do a check-in with you and see how you've been and what's new in your world. And we'll go from there. Yes.
Okay.
It's somewhat structured, but somewhat
not structured.
Not structured. And that's okay. Okay, so we would like to welcome all women, men, transgender, and other identified individuals here today. We welcome everyone here who is a mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, grandmother or grandfather, parent or sibling, partner. Welcome. We welcome people of all races, tribes, and descents. We welcome your bodies, your minds, and your energy. We welcome victims, survivors, and those who support them. We welcome all people single, married, partnered, dating, celibate, or involved in whatever sort of relationship is right for you. We welcome gay, lesbian, bisexual, heterosexual, queer, two-spirited, polyamorous, demisexual, and there's another one.
Now I can't think.
I can't think either. So we'll just say, and others for whom none of those current labels fit.
Okay.
Okay. We welcome your emotions, your joy, bliss, grief, hope, frustration, anger, sadness, all of your emotions. Welcome. We welcome everyone's special way of understanding and knowing the world. Everyone's wisdom, whether it is education that has been learned in schools, colleges, universities, and or the deep and profound school of life. We welcome those living with chronic medical conditions and disabilities, visible and invisible. We welcome mystics, seekers, and believers of all kinds. We welcome people who identify as activists, community leaders, group members, musicians, artists, and those who don't. And finally, we'd like to welcome the ancestors who lived in this land where we are now. Welcome the spirits of Mi'kmaq, the natives who lived in this area before the Europeans came. We'd like to acknowledge them and invite their spirits to this space. Everybody, welcome. And thank you. There, okay. Okay, Vida, let's do a check-in and see what's on your mind, what's new, what's exciting, just anything that you want to put out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, a couple of things, I think, well, more than a couple of things have been on my mind for the past week, but a couple of things that I thought I might talk about tonight. One is just how lovely the weather is now, right now.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
A blue sky and sunshine. And for me, it is t-shirt weather, even though it is only +5. I have had the wonderful privilege since beginning this whole wonderful journey through perimenopause, menopause, to have hot flashes, but I think my temperature somehow, or my sensing of my temperature, I feel hot a lot. And so this is definitely t-shirt weather for me. And I found out not that long ago that menopause hot flashes can last forever, that they don't end technically when the time of menopause ends, which I think medically is about 2 years after your period stops completely, which is a long time ago for me now. So it's still happening, my hot flashes. And anyway, so I love today, and I'm kind of getting worried about the summer because with the humidity that we've been having the last few summers and the heat, I may be hoping that the cold weather comes back. But I'm a typical Nova Scotian. I'm never happy with the weather. I'm always talking about it. So that was one thing.
Yeah,
and
it is beautiful though.
Yeah. Another thing, well, I think we're going to talk a little bit about this together, and is the budget came out.
Yeah.
So I didn't completely review it, but I did catch.
I didn't have the chance either.
Yeah, some of the coverage in the highlights, I guess, of the budget. And there's some interesting things in it, and I'm hoping that means it, for people affected by mental health, which probably is just about everybody in the province, and health in general, our hospitals and our medical services did get some attention this time around. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I guess the other big thing, or one of the other big things in the week was, and I didn't remember to watch the Academy Awards, but I did happen to turn it on just as the big incident happened. For those of you who didn't see it and haven't seen it since, it's been on pretty much every newscast and entertainment show you can find. There was a point just before the Best Actor Oscar was going to be given, a few minutes before, Chris Rock was on the stage, I think, presenting or getting ready to present something, and he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who is the partner, the wife of Will Smith, the actor, who was is one of the nominees for the Best Actor Oscar that night. He made a joke directed at her. Now, Jada Pinkett Smith has talked publicly about having a medical condition called alopecia. And alopecia is a medical condition that causes you to lose your hair, sometimes all of it, and sometimes in patches. And African descended women or Black women are disproportionately affected by this medical disease. We don't know why. Anyway, Chris Rock made a joke, and his joke was in reference to a movie that had been made called G.I. Jane. And in that movie, another actress, Demi Moore, had shaved her head because she was in basic training as a Marine. And all Marines, whether female or male or other identified, would have their head shaved during basic training. His joke was directed at Jada, saying he couldn't wait for the G.I. Jane 2 movie to come because she could play the role, the lead role. And her facial expression, she wasn't pleased. I didn't see that she said anything to Will Smith, who was sitting beside her. He hesitated for a second and got up and walked up on the stage towards Chris Rock. And everybody was very silent. And he went over, his hand wasn't raised, but he brought it up very quickly and slapped Chris Rock across the face and turned around and walked back off the stage and down to his seat. And the audience, again, was silent. I think some people thought it was a skit that they had pre-planned. Others were just in shock because they couldn't believe. And then from his seat, Will Smith yelled, "Yeah, you know, Chris Rock, you don't put my wife's name in your mouth." And he used some pretty bad words, the F word, and ever again. And I think that's when people realized that it wasn't, something that was supposed to be funny, that it was real. And so I guess the show, I didn't watch it after that. The show pretty much continued on. In a few minutes later, Will Smith was named the winner of the Oscar for the leading actor. He came up and he was very tearful and apologized to the Academy and to the people in the audience and the viewers, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock during his speech. And so that was kind of what happened that night that we were all privy to see. And he has since, I'm not sure at what point, made an apology to Chris Rock. But it's been interesting. It's been an interesting experience to have what I would call a violent incident, to actually witness it occurring, and to be able to step back and listen to the different perspectives of the people who were there and involved in what happened more directly, but also the people who, were viewers watching it happen, and just people who've learned of it since it happened and are chiming in with their opinion or their thoughts about it. I guess it demonstrates to me when things happen, whether it's an incident of violence or something else, that it isn't usually just the people involved in the incident directly who will be affected by the incident. Right. And to listen, I've heard some people who said, one of the things that was said right away about it was, Will Smith was just, Chris Rock insulted his wife, and Will Smith was protecting her. And so that was, their thought, he just defended his wife. He was angry about how his wife was insulted. He got up and he hit him, and that was okay that he did that. And then when I heard that, I was thinking, I don't know any of these people, but I know that Jada Pinkett Smith is a very well-spoken, a very articulate, very empowered woman.
Empowered, yeah.
And it's kind of dismissive of her for us to think that she needs her man or a man to, to protect her. I think she probably was more capable of dealing with it herself, or was capable, and maybe, she may have waited till after the show and gone up to Chris Rock and, said something to him then. We'll never know, because Will Smith chose to do what he did.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are people who, of course, will say things like, physical violence is never okay, no matter what the provocation. There are people who today on lunchtime show The View, there were people who were afraid that Black men would then be judged by Will Smith's behavior and say, well, there you go, all Black men are violent. But they didn't see that, well, Chris Rock is also a Black man, and his response was to not use violence and to step back. And then later, I happened to see a clip from the Ellen show in which she interviewed Wanda Sykes, who was one of the 3 hosts that hosted the Academy Awards this year. And she, she talked about, how what she was doing when it happened, and kind of her shock at what had transpired. And then, Ellen made the point that, these 3 women took on the hosting role after 3 years of nobody wanting to host because of some bad things that had happened around racism and so on. And so the whole, the focus on the 3 hosts was lost. Nobody said whether, did they do a good job or didn't they? And so that got lost and was just completely wiped out by this event. And then someone else brought up the fact that they knew that Chris Rock was a childhood survivor of bullying, and it was physical and verbal. And so for, a person to strike him may have been a big trigger for him, and how much it must have, affected him, and that he did not respond back with physical, with a physical response. That, we need to look at that. And Chris Rock has said that he was really, he used to use a lot of physical violence in response to things like that, and has been really working on learning not to. So, I mean, just in all, what I've been able to, and I haven't been glued to the television, but I've just, kind of casually seen these things. It just shows how much your actions or someone's actions, how much of an impact they can have on the person that is experiencing it, but also on those that witness it. And how, I guess, as witnesses, how our responses also can contribute, because now people are saying, should he have even gotten an Oscar that night? Other people are thinking, anybody else probably would have been grabbed by security and escorted out of the building.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about whether he should be capped as a member of the Academy. Should he lose his Oscar? What will be the consequences of his actions? And it was such a public stage that I think they have to be very thoughtful on how they, I guess, if there are going to be consequences, what they do, because it will definitely influence a lot of people. A lot of people look up to movie stars and actors and people, as role models, and look up to big institutions like the Academy that decides, who gets the Academy Awards every year. Look up to institutions like that to set a standard, when something like violence happens, what happens to the person that does or commits the violence.
Yeah, right.
So when I first, how you watch something, when I watched it, I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, another Hollywood moment. But I think, it really does bring up a lot of different perspectives
It does. Yeah.
on what choices you have when someone challenges you or disrespects you, or someone you care about, what your options are as far as how you can respond or react to that. When it's okay to let the person who was targeted by that disrespect, it's okay to let them decide what the response will be.
Yeah.
When is it okay, or when is it important for us to stand up and do something ourselves when they maybe aren't able to do something? It surprised me, I guess, at how convoluted it can be. So I guess that was my kind of big, it was only the last three days, but my big thought-provoking incident of the week for me. So
I saw it too, and I probably had the initial response that I had was probably similar to you. Oh, another Hollywood moment, this is just for ratings, or staged in a sense. And I think that also kind of speaks to the level of almost desensitization that we have as well in our world, just because of the increase in violence, and I'm going to say sexuality in media, in television, everywhere. And it has desensitized us to a degree where, because that was, somebody striking another person, and that's violence in that way. And I've asked a couple of people what their perspective or interpretation of that was, and one person I spoke to had said that she thought that Will Smith was triggered instantly in that moment, and just kind of reacted from that triggered place. And I mean, we may kind of never know really what all contributed to that action happening. Somebody had said, and it was on television, and I can't remember the person's name who said it. It was a female, and she said she has 3 words for Will Smith. Use your words.
Yeah.
And I don't know who that
and
was.
That's what we tell people, especially children, when we're trying to teach them. If somebody says something that hurts your feelings or hurts a friend's feelings, use your words, not your hands or your fists. And very wise 3 words to tell tell them.
And I think too, and this is all just my own interpretations of this, given my background and the work that I do. I think that in that moment where Chris Rock was struck, it was probably a level of shock because I mean, you don't anticipate something like that happening, especially on that massive stage, televised. You don't think that something like that's going to happen. So I imagine there was a level of shock as well for Chris Rock.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot, Wanda Sykes also shared that Chris Rock has since contacted her to apologize for what happened, because he knew that it took away the 3 women who were hosting the show. It took away everything they'd done, all the work they had done to try and make this happen. And he felt guilty and responsible for ruining that for them. And even though he was the victim of what happened, so, and again, that shows that people who are victims of violence or, of hurt in some way often feel responsible when it happens. That they did something that caused it to happen somehow.
Right.
And again, when people choose to hurt other people, it's no one else's fault but the person who's choosing that to do that hurt. So
exactly.
It's interesting, and I guess not surprising. I guess just we've never really seen it on this big of a stage before.
No.
When it was actually real. This wasn't a movie. It wasn't a skit that they talked about beforehand. And this was real life. This happened. And a lot of people saw it. And maybe it'll start some conversations about how we respond when somebody pushes our buttons or hurts us. How do we respond? And is our response, is it justified, or is there, how do we work that out? So I don't think there are easy answers for sure.
No.
But it most certainly got my brain thinking, and it also, I guess, allowed me to kind of just listen to other people and what they thought. And to be honest, I don't know what I think now. Once I've heard, all these different perspectives, I couldn't say to you, well, this is what should happen and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't envy their job. I don't envy the job they have to try and figure it out, because I think whatever they do, it won't be the right thing for some people, and it'll be the right thing for a little bit, and it'll be the wrong thing for a lot. So I don't envy that job that they have. Yeah.
Hollywood and the media taught us to think that staged and not real, to think that it was staged and not real based on the current. Oh, this is the thing from the end. Let me bring it up here. Based on the current fashion of the productions that are solely rating based, cry wolf situation, very similar to the reason so many people who have been wronged hesitate to speak out.
Yeah, it's true. And when you said that, we're almost desensitized. It's true, because I think 10 years ago, if I had been watching the Academy Awards and had seen something like that happen, my reaction might have been stronger. But when I saw it, I almost didn't react at all.
It was just like,
oh, okay, yeah, here's another thing they're going to do for ratings. And so we, even though we're aware, and because we both do this kind of work, we're more aware than the average person, we still are desensitized. And not that I want to be, I guess, really upset all the time, but I need to rethink how desensitized I am, and how much
I do too.
I let go now that I might not have let go a few years ago, or whatever. And what is that about? And can I, because I want to pay attention. I want to be upset when things happen that are not right. And I don't want to just be, oh yeah, whatever, and turn the channel. I want, or walk away from the discussion or what's happening. I want to be on guard, and I want to react. I don't want to be desensitized all the time.
No.
Sometimes it's nice to have a break. But
Is it ever?
But this for me was, I guess, an alarm that, need to think about this a little bit, and see if you can't, I don't know, get back some of that that sense for what's going on around.
Yeah. And I think it already has sparked a ton of conversations and talking and discussions about this. And I mean, something that you said that I just wanted to add to is how when somebody experiences violence, often they feel like somehow it's their fault, they caused it. And the work that I've done for the past 12 years in regards to working with survivors of sexualized violence, often and out in our society, there's the victim blaming. Well, they were drunk. Well, did you see how they were dancing? Did you see what they were wearing? They went over to that person's place. They should have known.
Yeah.
And just those sorts of comments that some people make. Like right now, if let's say you started saying a whole bunch of, calling me down to the lowest and all this nastiness that you're saying to me, and I come out there and I strike you. Some people think, well, Vida, you caused me to do that to you. You said all those things. If you wouldn't have said those things, I wouldn't have had to do that. And that's the thinking for some people, when it's like, no, I lost control. I'm the one who, I could have walked away. There's other options that I could have resorted to than coming out and striking you.
Yeah.
And with sexualized violence, it's really, that's a challenging piece to help survivors accept, is that no, you did not cause that to happen. The person who touched you without your consent, it's their fault, not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the person who took advantage of you because you were intoxicated, it's their fault. Or the person who took advantage of you because you were only 7 years old, or only 14 years
and
old,
groomed
or,
you. Yeah.
or you were 32 years old and they looked up to you and you know, you, whatever.
Yeah.
It's never, and that the feeling I get when I say the words, it's never the victim's fault. If there's nothing that you could say or do that would cause anyone to have the right to sexually assault you, that's the feeling I want to get back that I used to have, you know, when I'd hear or see something like what happened at the Oscars. I would get that feeling like, what? How, you know, Will Smith is a smart man and he's well-spoken too, and he could have used his words, as that woman said, and dealt with that if he felt he had to. He did not need to strike someone. And, you know, there's nothing that Chris Rock could have said about Will Smith's wife or Will Smith that would have given him permission to physically hurt, you know, assault him. And, you know, that's true for sexualized violence. It's true for other kinds of violence. You know, there's nothing that somebody does that gives, you know, causes that to happen. And we all can choose how we respond to those things. And
And an example that I've used with clients previously in trying to illustrate how that blame that some people hold towards themselves is, I'll say, so if I came over and pulled your hair right now, Vida, I just come up to you and I pull your hair. Did you ask for that to happen? Or is that your fault that I came over and pulled your hair? And you know, no, right? And if I say, well, Vida, you're wearing that lovely blue shirt, you know that I have a thing for lovely blue shirts and I need to pull people's hair. So it's your fault if you didn't have that blue shirt on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have did that. And people get that and they're like, no, that's on you, Margaret. But when it comes to like domestic violence, just community violence, school violence, wherever, sexualized violence, it's a whole, I'm going to say, mind fuck.
Yeah.
That it's a tough one.
It is. And and people, you know, we've had conversations recently with some people, And they'll say things like, well, I used to date this guy, and now, and I broke up with him because I didn't, he was a jerk. I stopped dating him. I don't want to have anything to do with him. He was a real jerk. But now he's dating this other girl I know. And so me and my friends are going to go beat her up. Well, why are you going to go beat her up? Well, because she's dating someone I used to date. And it's like, okay, so someone you used to date, you're no longer dating them. So technically he's free to date whoever he wants. Yes. Has she done anything to you? No, not really, but she's dating a guy I used to like. And you can't, like, it's that, and the idea that she deserves to be beaten up for it, not even go and I'm going to talk to her. I thought they might say, yeah, we need to talk to her because we need to let her know that he's a jerk. Not that. No, she did something wrong. And I think those messages are coming from all over the place. They're coming from the unhealthy relationships that are surrounding them in their own lives, but also on television and in music and other places we get our messages from. Is that somehow, you got to go beat up somebody because they look the wrong way, is an okay excuse. And it's not. It never was, and it never will be. But people will, yeah, it's really amazing how it can be justified.
Yeah, it is. And we could, there's so many different branches. Like I've got my whiteboard in front of me right here.
Yeah.
And I just want to grab my dry erase marker and just
start writing, turn
my camera around and just start, putting, because there's so many layers to this, and it's not just so simple. It's triggers and trauma and control and possessiveness and desensitization and all these things.
Yeah. And the different layers. I mean, racism comes into play, and gender identity, like how we identify as men and women, and other gender identities are, in our society, and what is expected of men and women when things like this happen. And like there's all this stuff that I'm sure we've said many times over would make a lovely university class. Full credit.
Yes. We're going to work on that, aren't we, Vida? To explore, in all our spare time.
Yeah. No, some of that stuff. So anyway, and just kind of sort of moving on, I just wanted to remind people of our pins that we have, our Teardrop of Hope and Freedom. That was created and designed by Leanna McLeod. And we have 100 that we're selling. And all of the money that we make from the pins, it's $50 per pin. And every penny of that will go to support relief for people who have been affected by the invasion and the war that's happening in the Ukraine. We have a couple of ideas for how we might do that. It could be medical supplies and other supplies that are necessary to get them, to support an organization that gets that directly to the front lines, let's say, of people who are still in shelter. Or we also have people who are, because they've been displaced from their country, who are coming to different countries. And one of the places we found out, or I found out today, we have some people that are going to come to Nova Scotia, and we may, use some of the money to directly support the families that are being sheltered here in Nova Scotia. They'll be here for a few months or maybe longer. And the families that are opening their homes and their hearts to them are looking for any kind of support they can get, whether it's people who can speak the language and can help with translation, whether it's people that just want to come and spend some time playing a game. One family has a mother and two children. One is a 15-year-old, and the other child, I believe, is younger, 6 or 7 years old. They're going to be coming here to Nova Scotia, I think in Dartmouth, Halifax area. So they're coming basically with a suitcase, and that's it. They'll need, the family that is taking them in has no financial support at the moment to do that, and they're more than willing, and they just kind of put it out there, you know, if anybody would like to help us do this, we're going to do it no matter what. But you know, if you have some gently used clothing, they're going to send a thing out with some sizes as soon as they know. Gift certificates to the mall, or to, you know, to get a meal, or anything that would help make the welcome to this family a little bit brighter, considering what they've just left. And the father is still in the Ukraine fighting for his country. So, you know, they may have escaped to Canada, but they still are going to be very, very stressed about what's happening to the father still there. So that's another idea where I thought the money we raise could go, is to support any families who are supporting people coming from the Ukraine because of the war. So please, Margaret, it's on our...
I'm just going to show the web. The website.
If you see the...
Because there's the pin.
The pin.
So beautiful. And then, and they're all signed by Leanna and numbered. And then there's this button here on the website. And if you click on there, you can order it directly online.
Yes. And if anybody happens to know me or see me out and about, I have some pins. I'm going to leave some here at the office, at a 10 office in Shubenacadie. If you know Margaret, you know, just let us know that you would like to purchase a pin, and we will make sure that it gets to you. If you need it mailed, all we need is your address, and we'll make sure it gets mailed to you. And
contact Margaret before you come to the office to make sure Margaret's here, because Margaret might not be here.
Yes. And make sure that she's not in a, you know, in a session with a client. Yeah. You know, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we can set up some times where I will make myself available here at the office, you know, from a certain time to a certain time. And if people want to just drop in and get them, then we can do that. But please help us, you know, provide support to the people in the Ukraine, because, you know, I can't even imagine what they're going through. And and I hope, you know, that we can do something that will help make something a little easier for a bit of time.
We will do what we can, Biden.
Yeah.
And others will too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've had quite a few sales, like not all the 100, don't panic, but more than I thought right away. So I think they're going to go pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it's so important, and they're so beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. All
I'm just going to grab my contact the EA of the library. They might be willing to distribute them for you. Also, has the YMCA been contacted? That's from Chris.
Okay, cool.
Yes, noted. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm just looking at my sticky. I just want to mention about next week, April 6th. We are having Wyatt Sanford from Kennecook, who is an Olympic boxer, joining us. Yes. So we're going to hear from Wyatt about his journey of getting to the Olympics. Like, that's not an easy, like that's some hard work and dedication to get there.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to to having Wyatt come visit us here at the office, and we'll have a great conversation with Wyatt next Wednesday. And I still want to do the rules for being human.
Yes.
And I think tonight, we haven't done it for the last couple of sessions, but I think kind of given some of the weight of some of our conversation, I'm probably going to conclude with the loving kindness meditation.
Okay, I think that would be perfect.
Just because some of that was kind of heavy. And yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to read the 10 rules for being human. I stumbled upon this today going through an old binder, and I love it. So I just wanted to share it with everyone. So number 1, you will receive a body. You may like or hate it, but it will be yours for the entire period this time around. That's number 1 rule for being human. Number 2, you will learn lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called life. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or think them irrelevant or stupid. Number 3, there are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error and experimentation. The failed experiments are as much a part of the process as experiments that ultimately works. 4, a lesson is repeated until learned. A lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you have learned it, you can then go on to the next lesson, and then to the next lesson, and the next one. And it's like, life, just stop, leave me alone for a minute. Enough lessons for today. Okay. Number 5, learning lessons does not end. There is no part of life that does not contain its lessons. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. Number 6, there is no better than here. When your there has become a here, you will simply obtain another there that will look better than the here. Do I need to repeat that one?
No.
Good,
well,
because I think I got that out as smoothly as I could. Okay, 7. Others are simply mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects to you something you love or hate about yourself. We could do that with all of these.
Yeah.
Number 8, what you make of your life is up to you. You have the tools and resources you need. What you make of them is up to you. The choice is yours. 9, your answers lie inside you. The answers to life's questions lie inside you. All you have to do is look, listen, and trust. That trust is a biggie. That's a biggie, trying to help people establish that trust of themselves.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that, like when people come in to see me, it's like, don't give me your power to tell me what your answers are. You have that. We just need to get some stuff out of the way so you can connect with that part of yourself.
Yeah.
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 Okay, and number 10. This is the biggie. This is the one that I live by. You will forget all of this. And that's number 10. Yes. Because we do forget all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or after a while, we'll go, oh, that was the lesson I was supposed to learn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not always at the time.
No. That's a whole other thing in itself, is being able to, I won't even say appreciate, because some lessons are really tough. They're really tough.
Yeah.
And sometimes the answers don't always present so easily.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's weeks, months, years away.
Yeah. And
from that unit.
sometimes we need that same lesson over and over and over until we get it, or maybe we keep trying. Yeah.
Well, yes. And that
as
just
long
made
as we
me
keep trying.
well, as you were just saying those words, Vida, I was thinking, yes, this is relevant to us applying for funding.
Yes,
we keep
absolutely.
applying and applying and applying.
And we'll keep applying.
We will.
We're never going to learn that lesson. But
Yes.
Then there's the question, Margaret, are we learning the lesson? Are we in fact trying to teach
teachers?
the funders the lesson?
Wow.
That's the question.
Maybe we can take a whole episode to explore that. Are we the student or the teacher?
That's right.
Ooh, I think we're both at the same time.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that's something we need to think about while we're meditating.
Yes. And we're going to do that. Look, 6:53, Vida. And I said, we're not going to do a full hour tonight. And here we are.
Here we are.
We do this all the time. Yes. And there might be, Vida and I are going to be talking about how things may look different for MAAT. Maybe starting in April. We're not sure if we'll continue weekly, if we'll go bi-weekly. We might set up differently because we've got our Yeti microphones that we really want to use because they're so cool. And yeah, there's just some different ideas that we have. That
we're growing.
We are.
Yeah.
We're students and teachers. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do our loving kindness meditation and we'll conclude on that note. Okay. So for the next couple of minutes, just put all your stresses and all your worries up on your shelf. They'll be there waiting for you when you're done this meditation in about 3 minutes. Please close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, please just find something to fix your stare on. Allow yourself to be in this moment, the here and now. Hearing the sounds in the room around you, being in this space. Just allow your breathing to be natural. You don't need to control your breathing in any way. Begin to notice any tension you may be holding in your body. Begin to feel that tension start to drain away from you, draining away from around your eyes and face, through your neck, shoulders, and down your arms. Feel the tension drain like a liquid down through your body and out through your toes. Now begin to feel your body fill up with love. Imagine a loving white light entering your feet, traveling up through your body, up to your stomach, to your chest, and your arms. Feel it almost bursting through your heart, your fingers, and through the crown of your head. When you feel embraced in that love, silently repeat the following words to yourself. May I be free from all harm. May I be safe and protected. May I be free from all suffering. May I be happy. May I be free from all disease and physical pain. May I be healthy and strong. And may I be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Now think of someone that you love dearly. A child, partner, sibling, parent, partner. See this person in your mind's eye. Keeping the image of them in your mind, send loving thoughts to him or her or them, and silently repeat the following statements. May you be free from all harm. May you be safe and protected. May you be free from all suffering. May you be happy. May you be free from all disease and physical pain. May you be healthy and strong. And may you be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Now turn your thoughts to this vast world, the huge earth with all its living creatures. Continue to feel that love bursting through your body as you silently say, may all beings be free from all harm. May they be safe and protected. May all beings be free from all suffering. May they be happy. May all beings be free from all disease and physical pain. May they be healthy and strong. And may all beings be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Send your love as far out around the world as possible. And just imagine that energy traveling through the earth. Feel that love centered around your heart. Feel the weight of your feet on the floor. Feel yourself in this moment, in the now. And when you are ready, you may slowly open your eyes. We haven't done that in a little bit, Vida.
No, we needed it.
I think so.
Mm.
It's like it allows me to do a nice exhale, a nice breath.
Yeah.
When I do that, it benefits me doing it
Yeah.
too. Not just listening, but actually doing it. Yeah. There. Wow. That was lovely. Yes. Yeah. So I want to give a big shout out to Chris and Leanne for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and joining and spending some valuable time with us. Yes. And offering some comments. So we'll be back next week, 6 o'clock. Yes, with Wyatt and whatever other wild and crazy stuff might happen in Hollywood or here in Nova Scotia.
Or right in our own little lives.
Oh, yes. The papa dog was a digging in the dirt today.
Yes.
Yeah.
We may have lots of fun stories, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna say goodbye for now.
Okay.
Okay. So take care of yourself, take care of each other, be well, and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.